Hello and welcome to the latest This is the Music Meets podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by Joe, Will, Lennon and Felix, who are from Marseille. And in my opinion, they are one of the most exciting and up-and-coming bands in the country. Over the course of today's podcast, we're going to find out exactly what the band have been up to since they were last on the show, including playing the Isle of Wight Festival, the release of their debut EP, and also as well, Felix and Lennon both joining the band and along as well with Tom. Joe and Will, first of all, welcome back onto the podcast. Obviously, your second appearance on the show. And Lennon and Felix, well, hello to you as well. How are you all doing today?
Yeah, good. I'm good today. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Getting stuck in with blogs and new music and all the rest of it, and generally enjoying what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, cool.
So obviously in the introduction there, we highlighted some of the sort of the key aspects that you boys have been up to in the last 12 months. I'm guessing it's fair to say that it's been a pretty busy time, right?
Yeah, it's been really busy. Most of the year at the start was the scouting mission to look for a drummer and bass player and everything, and now we've all sorted, so we're all full speed ahead now. So yeah, it's been very busy.
Yeah, and obviously as you say, because like last time, obviously you were a two-piece, and obviously now you've extended it out to a five-piece. Was it always the intention to kind of like end up with five, or would you been happy with three or four? Was it quite an easy sort of decision to make? And kind of like, what of Lennon and Felix, as they're here at the moment, what have they brought to the band? And for you two as well, Lennon and Felix, what's it like being in the band at the moment?
Awful. I've been trying to get out. No, it's great. We all gel together really well, and I was in for I can't remember how long until Felix joined, but Felix joining has just made it like 10 times better. We thought it was good before, and then Felix joined. It's just like it just sits right.
Yeah, it's really good.
But
it's just sort of, it's very nice. It's just wanting to like always be in a band and that, and now I'm here, so it's all good.
And did you kind of like know like Joe and Will or Tom before you joined, or was it just kind of how did you all sort of like meet and join the band?
Do you want to go first?
Go on then. So Felix kind of knew Joe and Will before me because they go to the same college and they're in the same year, so they knew each other. But they found me through an open mic. I was on a Facebook post on my own, and I thought he looks kind of cool, I think. And then they messaged me, and they were like, I play bass. They stalked me on Instagram. They found a bass cover I did. So they were like, can you play bass for us? And I was like, I checked them out. They're cool. So I started playing bass. And then Felix, I'll let you explain how you ended up.
Okay, so I was on holiday in Brighton, and then I've got a mate called Ryan who went to their gig at the Hairy Dog. And then he messaged me, I think, and was like, "Oh, Marseille, do you know them? They're looking for a bassist." And I was like, "Oh, that's something I might be interested in." So I knew who they were because I discovered Marseille when like State of Mind came out last year through a Spotify playlist, and I thought, yeah, why not? So I gave Will a message, and then here we are.
Excellent stuff. And kind of like over the last 12 months, obviously you've signed your first record deal with ADR Records. And for those who don't know, that is the team that are behind Away Day Radio, the radio station. So shout out to Dino and Gary on there. So kind of like then for you boys, what has it been like working with ADR Records over the past 12 months?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been a productive partnership. We've just sort of got an agreement that it's non-contractual. So we've sort of just agreed that we'll do music and they'll help us get it out there and stuff. So when we did our CDs and stuff, as you've you obviously know and stuff. They helped pay for it and everything like that. And obviously, as they put on their gigs, they sometimes sort us out, and that's good. It's been a really productive partnership.
Yeah, sure. And obviously you've released the 4 songs, haven't you, through that partnership, as you say. Obviously, She Knows a Place, Forget It All, The Jungle, and Freedom. So I'd kind of like, as they're the sort of, the 2 not most recent releases, and obviously include Bob Lennon in particular, and obviously Felix as well. So let's talk about The Jungle first of all. Great groove to it, and obviously sort of like psychedelic style guitars as well. And it's kind of like, obviously it's a long song, 9 minutes, which I think is quite a brave decision, because no one else is clearly doing that at this moment in time. And I kind of like understand that's one of the first songs that Marseille like wrote as a like Will and Joe together. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, well, I mean, The Jungle, that bass line I had from the age of 13, we didn't do anything with it for years and we just sort of wanted to bring it back. And regarding the length of the song, I think it was because obviously radio, it's about 3.5 to 4 minutes is like the average play. But I'm like, me and Will have always thought all the greatest songs are like over 6 minutes, 5 minutes. So it's like, I don't know what changed. So it's like, a lot of people in industry say people's attention spans are short, but I'm like, when's that been the case? Why are they speaking on behalf of everyone? Mine's certainly not. I think anyone's in the band, so it's like, we're just going to release it to prove that a great song doesn't have to be 3.5 minutes or like just played on radio, but it's still a great song, and it's great when we play live. So I think that just proves our point, really.
And kind of like on that as well, then within like the set, is that sort of like the closing song on the set, because of like the guitars and sort of like some of the feedback, you can morph it into sort of something a little bit different than it just being the song, if that kind of like makes sense.
We play it sometimes, but honestly not as much as we probably should, because we have some recently we're playing half an hour sets, and with that being 9 minutes, that's the majority of it. But no, we end it with a State of Mind, but that used to be obviously 5 minutes. That's no longer that. But I'm not going to spoil any surprises. If you watch us live, then you'll know. But no, we don't play The Jungle that often. But when we do, it's great. We did it at Why Not Festival, and we had people sort of like dancing about and stuff, which was great. If you feed off that crowd reaction, which is awesome. But
yeah, sure. And kind of like as well on that, obviously you've had quite a few people saying, it reminds them a little bit of like the Stone Roses and stuff. So I'm guessing that you boys must be buzzing up to have one of your songs compared to such a legendary band.
of course.
Yeah, definitely. Since the Stone Roses are one of my favourite bands, well, they are my favourite band. So, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. Because when we first started the band, it's what we were thought together as a collective. It's like, what's today's music missing? And there's not really anyone out there that's doing stuff like the Stone Roses or anything. So we thought, well, let's just take all the bands we like and sort of base it around the Stone Roses base and build up on it. So for the Jungle to be compared to the Stone Roses is really what we were going for. It just shows that what we're doing is working. That's something that's always going to make me very happy.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a fantastic song. We've played it a couple of times on our show, and fun. And he's just about to join us now, drummer Tom. I'm hoping he can hear me with that introduction. And obviously, hello, hi Tom, how you doing?
Hello, good, thank you. Yeah,
good, great stuff. Thanks for joining us, and great to see you as well.
Cheers, thank you.
We were just talking there about The Jungle, obviously the one but last single release, and obviously what was about 3-4 weeks ago, I think now. Obviously Freedom came out, obviously featured all 5 of you on the record. So kind of like, how was that in terms of like the recording process for you guys? I'm guessing that was the first time that you recorded together as a 5-piece. And kind of like, do you think that might change the approach within the band in terms of like the songwriting approach as well?
I think songwriting wise, it'll always remain the same. Like it's usually just me who comes in with the bones of the song, or Joe has a riff or something, and then we'll work on it to build around it. I never really tell the lads, "Oh, I'm writing your parts for you." I'll just give them a bass and let them work and do what they want to do, because it's a collective project. It's what makes it unique. If they have their influences, that's what makes it as good as it is. Like, I know on bass, Felix has got loads of influences like Manny and even Smiths and stuff. So if I was playing bass, like I might not be able to come up with stuff like that. So I'll just let him go ahead and do it. And Lennon's obviously Beatlesy, Joe's Led Zeppelin, which I would never be able to do. And Tom is ridiculous at drums. So I just let them do what they want. I just write the bones of the songs and let them go crazy.
And obviously, which as we said, mentioned their freedom. You boys obviously been out on tour. You know, I think you've had about 5 or 6 dates, and I think you've got one coming up in a couple of days' time, haven't you? So, kind of like for the 5 of you playing live together, what has that been like? And on the other dates that you played, what has the reaction been like?
And like a bit over 2 months now. Obviously, we've gelled together great, so the chemistry's there. We're extremely tight as a band, and the reactions we're getting is all positive stuff. There's no setbacks. There's nothing like that. It's just still working on our craft and just getting out there more, which is it's been great. And this tour has really showed that. And yeah, it's been a fun journey, I'd say.
Right. So, I mean, also as well for you, Lennon, what has it been like? Obviously, you mentioned there before about the open mic thing, doing that kind of like as a solo sort of project. So, what's it been like being, you know, playing live, but obviously within that band dynamic?
It's good to have some company for a change. It got very boring on my own, so it's good to have 4 other people to like share it with. Because when you do a gig on your own, you come off and you just like you want to talk about it, but you can't talk about it. Well, you can talk about it to yourself, but it's good to do a gig and then like we can think like we always look at gigs we did like 4 months ago, compare them to better gigs we're doing now, and you could do that when you got other people. But yeah, it's a lot better altogether.
Yeah, sure. And Felix, has there been a particular date on this tour that you've, you know, that you'd say maybe is like the best gig at all?
Yeah, we did Sheffield. We date at Sheffield was really good. I don't know, it just felt really right. It just gelled together nicely, and just everyone was just on par, you know, on top performance. So yeah,
Great stuff. And obviously, Will, obviously when we were speaking before, you were sort of rhythm lead guitarist plus a singer. Now you're just the singer. So how has that transition been for you over this, you know, on this tour in particular?
Yeah, it just feels right. It's something I've always said to Joe and stuff that I've wanted to do. Like, I personally only learned guitar because I could sing. So when I found out I could sing, I just thought I need something to back it up, or I need something to be able to write songs or something. So it's just my backup plan was to play guitar. But now I've got the freedom to move around and stuff. It's just brilliant. Like, I can walk anywhere I want. I can make fun of the lads and stuff and heckle them. And yeah, it just feels natural. It's what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, sure. And has there been anyone heckling back within the band on while you're giving it to them, or?
Usually
I
Lennon.
try
Yeah,
sometimes.
usually Lennon.
Yeah, I sometimes try, but he's very persistent.
Me and Lennon just have these staring contests half the time.
Yeah.
We just stare at each other. We just catch each other's eye. Then just for it's not like a purposeful thing we do through the show. It's like if we catch our eye, we just won't stop looking at each other, and just funny, isn't it? You got to keep something interesting. So
Yeah,
whether it
absolutely.
continues, we don't know.
Absolutely. And kind of like just continuing on with the gig theme. Obviously, you mentioned Why Not Festival before, which I'm sure was a fantastic experience. But I kind of like really want to focus on the Isle of Wight festival. You played there on the Sunday, didn't you? As part of the Songbird showcase. So kind of like, what was that experience like? Obviously, such a prestigious festival, and kind of like, how did you end up getting on the bill?
I'll let Tom have that because Tom can talk about it.
Yes, thank you. We got it through a PR company, Songbird, obviously, Sally. And gig-wise, was really probably one of the best, my favourites, to be fair. It was a long day to get there, but it was like, just like the atmosphere and the stage and just being there was like, yeah, one of the best, I think. Hopefully we can do it again.
Sure. And were you boys able to hang around after the festival, like after your set, or was that pretty much finished, pack up and off you go?
An hour or so, didn't we? But I think Leonard, you had an exam next day, didn't you? So you had to head back.
I had my chemistry GCSE the next morning, so we had to go. We couldn't stay overnight.
should have turned up to school with a hangover. That would have been fine.
Yeah, I probably did.
And obviously, as you know, here at This Is The Music, we like to try and shine a light on bands, like yourselves, that are trying to make their way, in the scene. So kind of like across 2022, have there been any bands or solo artists at all that you guys are going, yeah, I'm really digging their sound at all?
Yeah, there's a band called Republic who released their single this year. That's See What I've Done. I really enjoyed that. Like, it's very Larsy meets the Stone Roses, and obviously anything that sounds Stone Roses in slightest way, I'm all over it. And also Shed Project, they're a brilliant band.
Yeah,
love them.
fantastic.
They're really supportive of us as well. So yeah, Institutes, we supported them on their recent tour a few times. We did Coventry, and what was the other one we did? Was it Liverpool? Yeah, they're really supportive of us. We were chatting to them, and they said that they reckon we're the best band in the UK. So how's that for praise? So
yeah, it's always nice to hear, definitely.
Yeah, so I love the Institutes. I've always been a fan. I bought their vinyl when it came out, and I think they were quite shocked, and I said I had it. So yeah, it was an honour to support them.
Yeah, sure. And how about you, Joe? Is there anyone at all? Have you got any different ones to Will?
I mean, yeah, there's a few at the minute of like I think I can't remember if I said last time Pastel, but they're getting big now. They've done Nebworth and all that, so I'll go for a few different ones. But on the same label as them, Vega Rally, he's doing great.
Yeah.
I really like the Kairos. I think they're great as well.
Yeah,
like
fantastic.
And then even around Derby as well, there's some great acts. Like the Mees, obviously, with their album, Public Eye doing well, like their stuff. And Shadows of a Silhouette, Oregon Way. So it's all good at the minute.
Yeah, them three bands they obviously just mentioned. Yeah, we're very, very familiar with them, and good, very good bands. And long may that continue for them. Keep driving forward. And how about you, Felix and Lennon? Have you got any others that at all for you boys?
I'm with Joe on like the Vega Rally, Pastel, and Affleck's Palace thing. Just adore them at the moment. Really good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of everything that's been said.
And obviously because Vega Rally, they obviously did the remix, didn't they, of Jungle? So I mean, kind of like how did that happen? Was that a bit of a surprise for you boys? I mean, did they approach? Did he approach you to do that?
My dad's mate had an idea basically because we're obviously big fans of new music, and he was saying, "Well, how about you get Vega to remix it?" He said, "Like, it's not like you're asking Fatboy Slim or anything." He said, "Like, he's probably similar level to you, so why don't you ask him, see what happens?" And I thought it's worth a go. So I sent him the Jungle and said, "Do you reckon you could remix this?" And he said, "Yeah, sound lads, I'll do it. It's a tune." And obviously a great connection's been made there, and hopefully we'll get a show sorted with him in 2023. That'll be mint. So yeah, that sort of came about just on a whim. I got in touch with him and he said, "Yeah, I'm all for it."
Yeah. Oh wow. And if you was to get on the same bill with him, that I'm sure that would be a great little gig.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
And talking of gigs, so we're going to kind of like chuck some quick fire questions at you now, relating about a dream venue that you boys would want to play at, what you want on your rider, and perhaps as well what bands you'd like to see on the bill. So we'll start off first of all with the dream venue. Where would be the ultimate venue for you boys to play at?
Rock City in Nottingham. For me, because it's a personal venue. It's very close to us, quite local, and I've seen some brilliant acts there, and I like the personal gig, so that'd be one that I'd love to play.
Yeah, sure. Is there anything different for anyone else, or are we happy with Rock City?
Rock City is probably like the most personal one, I would say, for me, definitely. But if it were talking like big time, big dream one, it would be Brixton Academy for me.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
And what this for all of you here, what would kind of like be the in the rider before the gig, well, and after the gig, but what are you putting on your rider? What are we going for?
Good question.
I mean, are we looking at we're looking at beer, we're looking at spirits, we chucking
I'd say a few beers.
We chucking out there.
I think it's got to be beers, hasn't it? Really, I mean,
A few beers,
you
I
get them
think.
at gigs anyway, and I don't know, they hit different at gigs. Like you could just have loads and you feel fine, and it's part of the thing. You can't do a gig and not have a drink, can you?
No, definitely not. And what would be the pre-gig entrance music? I mean, at the moment, you boys don't come out to anything, do you? You just come out, walk on stage, plug in, and off you go. So are we gonna mix that up?
We occasionally do.
We had a phase where we came out to pop music by M. We had a little bit of that for a while, but I think in the future we want to either compose our own, where it's like sound effects, it's all crazy and stuff, or we could come out to the Vega Rally remix as well. So yeah, both work.
Yeah, why not? And who's going to be the special announcer, the person that's going to say this is, get the crowd going, get the crowd up, and say that this is welcome to the stage, this is Marseille?
The Rock.
Fantastic choice. And we're going to get from each of you here we'll try and do this. We've got Marseille on the bill, so I kind of like need 4 other bands that are gonna join you at this gig, and then kind of like work out who's going to be the headliner, who's going to be the opening act, and kind of like where are Marseille going to fit on that bill.
Yeah, cool.
It could be any band, it can be new music, it can be older, established, more legendary bands, whatever.
I'm gonna let have a go. Yeah, I would definitely say Pastel. Pastel got to be one.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about legendary bands? I'd really like to see Primal Scream on the bill.
Yeah, great. Yeah, they're fantastic. I saw they're supporting Noel Gallagher next year, aren't they?
Yeah, I was tempted by that, to be fair. Yeah. They're one of the best bands I've seen live, so yeah, definitely on the bill.
Yeah, they're great. Fantastic band. So we've got Pastels, we've got Primal Scream. Sorry, Pastel. That's something. Pastels is something different. Pastel, Primal Scream.
Mondays on there. You know what I mean?
Mondays, Lice.
Got to be done.
Yep. So that's forward. One more band. Who are we going to pick? Tom, Lennon. Who are you going to pick?
I mean, no one else is going to agree with me, but I love Jamie T, so I'll just say him.
Oh, I love Jamie T.
I'll let Tom have
that.
No one else in the band agrees with me, but yeah.
Oh, you've got someone here. I can see this.
Yeah, there's one person. Thank you.
And who's going to headline this gig?
It's either going to be Primal Scream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Surely they're for the
Yeah, Primal.
To be honest, yeah. And then Happy Mondays probably after, well, on before. So that main support. Pastel. Well, no, Jamie T's quite high up actually.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. Jamie T's big, isn't he? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, and then
Jamie T's bigger than what I remember.
what
Yeah,
you boys
quite
are your boys are gonna be the opening act. Is that fair to say?
In that scenario, we would be, but I would quite like to be quite high up on the bill.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
if
the positive, the other way that the other way you can look at that, mate, is that you're going to get first dibs on the rider for the rest of the day. So
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
To be fair, if it's our dream bill, just put us at top. If we're on an interview and we're allowed to say what we want, then yeah, us, we're headline.
Yeah, about that.
and are there any like hidden talents within the band that or is there like a practical joker that the rest of you are constantly wary of?
A few.
Lennon's always the butt of the joke. Whenever we go to like gigs and we drink, Lennon has got a really bad habit of holding his beer like open so he can always get the top, and everyone just goes on the top of it and just makes it explode everywhere every time.
God, that's happened too many times.
And he usually end up wearing his drinks wherever we go.
Oh God, yeah, he does.
Coffee mainly.
Yeah,
Anything.
basically, everyone bullies Lemon, basically. That's the practical joke.
Yeah,
Tom, don't pretend you don't, mate. Come on.
I don't, mate.
you
I don't.
do.
No, Tom doesn't. Tom doesn't.
Thank you,
He
Lemon,
does.
thank you.
He does.
No,
Don't
Lennon's
lie.
just scared of Tom. He won't say it on camera.
No, Felix doesn't. Felix is the nice one in the
I
band.
don't.
Oh,
to be
Felix
tell
is
you
the
that.
nicest, yeah.
Felix is the nice one.
Felix is new.
The rest of us can be
Yeah,
a bit
Just one
hard.
bully. We will one day.
There's still time, Lennon. There's still
Yeah.
time.
It's tough time.
He has a dark side. We just haven't seen it yet.
Keeping it under wraps for when the moment is right, and obviously, and obviously, as we know, the World Cup is well underway. So, are England going to finally bring it home? And if they're not, who do you think is going to win it?
You know what? I do think England are going to win it this year because it's the one year where everyone's going to try and sweep this World Cup under the rug. So I've got a feeling the one that everyone tries to forget is going to be the one that England win, because that's just the way how things go. But we have got a strong squad, so I do think we've got a really good chance of winning it. But if it's not us, I could see it being France.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good shout. And is anyone else thinking England, or you got another country in mind?
I think
I've got a
England-
feeling England will. Yeah.
Yeah, but if not, if not for me, it's probably Japan. I really like Japan.
I like Japan. They're winning in a minute. They're winning right now.
Are they? Oh, nice one.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're being
fantastic.
insane.
Well, there you go, Tom. Your dream could happen.
Exactly. I predicted it. You watch now. If England don't win, it's Japan.
I hope you've got some money on it, because if it does come true, this will be played to you as forever.
I'm going to now.
And kind of like, lads, looking back over the past 12 months, this is probably quite difficult, to be fair, to answer, because there have been so many. But what would you say has been the one standout moment for you that you look at? I'm really, really proud of that happening.
That's a good question.
I'm
Any for you lads?
Yeah, there's one. I'm really proud of when we did Derby Arena, because that was our first gig with Felix. He absolutely smashed it. It was a great atmosphere, great crowd. Just to be on that stage, and actually have Arena in the title, it was just insane, really. I mean, I've seen a gig there before, and it was packed, and the fact you get to be on that stage, it was just immense. And so yeah, first gig as a 5-piece, I was really proud of that. It's like you can't stop smiling, really, in your head.
I'd probably
you
give
show
him the same
excitement
answer.
on stage.
Sorry, what was was that Lennon there? What was your standout moment?
That one. That's what I would have said. Because Felix, his first gig, and it was like massive gig for your first gig, and then Will was losing the guitar, and I was having the guitar, so switching roles a bit, but we smashed it, saying what a big gig it was.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was
great stuff. And how about you, Felix?
It's definitely like Derby Arena. I think it's like thrown into the deep end a bit there with that one. But no, really good. Loved it.
Fantastic. Tom, Will, have you got anything different there for you boys?
I
I've
really
got
enjoyed
something
why
different.
not. I did this year. I think it was just really good. Like, it was the smaller stage, but packed out.
Yeah,
I really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed that one. That's really good.
I think I've got two. I don't know which one to pick. When we got played on Soccer AM, because that was crazy for me because I've grown up watching Soccer AM from the age of like 3, and our song being played on it was just crazy to me. And secondly, it's probably when Freedom came out this year, because that's the first song we've really had where I thought the production is like pretty nailed on as how I wanted it. Because I've got quite a bad habit of just being a bit too nice and just saying, yeah, cool, yeah. When really in the back of my head, I just think this could probably be better. But Freedom's like the first song we've released where I've been like, yeah, that's basically 99% there. So I'm really proud of when that came out.
great stuff. Some fantastic choices and memories in there across the year for you. What's next then for Marseille? Obviously, I'm looking really ahead. Really, I guess now to 2023. Are we going to be, seeing some more new music from you, or maybe even some like gigs or anything like that at all?
Yeah, well, 2023 is looking to be a big year so far, and this is something that we've been sitting on, and it might be an exclusive for you if we don't announce it before your show goes out.
Lovely.
So
we love an exclusive on here.
yeah, we are touring in March. We did our first headline tour across the UK. So we're playing Scotland and England. So playing all over the place, really. Our first time over the border as well. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And we've obviously got new music coming out. We're promoting a new EP, which is technically the debut, because the first one's, I don't know if you've noticed, it's disappeared from existence. So
Yes.
yeah, you've got it. You've got a piece of
Not
history
everywhere.
out there. Yeah,
Not everywhere.
you've got a piece of history. Yeah, because we just thought, well, we might as well do the new EP with all 5 members now, and we're obviously a new brand. So yeah, this is the new debut EP. So them songs will be back, by the way. So don't worry, they will be back. But we're going to do them as 5 of us instead of 3.
Yeah, sure. Well, that sounds like that's going to be superb for you boys. Fantastic to hear. Obviously that you've got some more new music and an EP on the way, and obviously as well with the with the tour as well. And it as you just said there, it sounds like 2023 is shaping up to be a very special year, and maybe already it's going to be better than obviously what we've spoken about today in terms of what you've obviously what you've achieved. So lads, that is unfortunately the end of the podcast. Thanks very much for coming on and giving up your time this evening. It's great having you back on. Obviously the first time as a 5-piece. Really enjoyed it, and getting to chat to Lennon and Felix and Tom this time. But just before you do go, I'm sure most people know now where they can find you on social media. But could you just let us know what channels you're on and your hashtag?
Yeah, we're the same on everything. We're just Marseille Band, all one word. So if you want to follow us on anything, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube, if you type in Marseille Band, will come up. Thanks again for having us, Mark. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. And thank you, as I say, thank you very much for coming on. As always, it's been great chatting with you boys. Obviously, either over Instagram messaging or like in situations like this. And fingers crossed that I'll be able to come out for the tour next year. And in the meantime, wish you the best of continued success as well with that when that happens. And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for listening to the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast. We'll include Marseille's social media links in the episode bio to make it a little bit easier for you to find them. And we will see you all again very, very soon.